Hi, it's Thursday. It is April 9th. I think that's the date today. I have not recorded a single thing this week. Uh, it's just been one of those. So let's chat. I'm on my way to practice right now. Again, Thursday. Typical practice day. So I'm on my way in now. I'm not going to dive too much into detail here, but it's been a little bit of a rough week, starting last week and then rolling into this week. Just had a lot of not so great news on a couple fronts, and life's just been happening, and makes you want to appreciate people around you so much more when you receive tough news, or a friend, family member is going through a very, very difficult time. So it's just been tough, and our line of work, being in fitness, especially, you're people facing, and your job is to be the hype man for everyone else. It's not always easy to. You learn to do it. If you've been in this industry long enough, you know how to compartmentalize, and you have to learn to do it, because that's, with most things, that's the job, right? But it doesn't take away the hurt. It doesn't take away the pain of when life is happening. It's a nice distraction, sure, but some days are, it's hard to. Some days it's a little harder to put it on. But we've been here. We're doing it. And it's just been, in general, just a rough couple of days. I'm going to eventually talk. I know I keep saying this. I need to do it. I'm going to talk about, my past with my injury and some other things. It's just been a rough couple of days. So it actually attributes to why practice on Sunday was a little, I don't want to say rough, because it wasn't bad. I just, I was slow. I wasn't moving quickly. It felt like I weighed 100 more pounds than I needed to. And it now has all connected. It all makes a lot of sense, what's been going on, and just between stress and inflammation, a lot. Positives this past week, I did go out to see Marissa and had some body work done, so I feel really good, which is great. The routine's got a lot of stuff rolling around on my back, and throwing your body at the ground doesn't always feel great. And so every time I compete, my neck always gets a little stiff. She told me my upper back's really, really, really tight, which probably is pulling down on everything. So, but it's feeling a lot better today, so we're going to hope to not mess that up while I'm going to practice. I mentioned last week I am going to start working with somebody, which I'm so excited for, on this routine, and am bringing out more performance value, presentation. And so he is going to come in with me on Sunday. So I'm excited. Today is not that day. So really, here's my game plan. Walking in today, we're going to warm up. I'm going to run. I'm going to stick to this because I'm not always the best at that. I start playing around I'm just going to play around 5 more minutes. No, Melissa. I'm going to go in. I'm going to warm up. I'm going to run my sections. I mentioned I was going to do thirds. That is my plan today. I feel good. I feel energized. I did have a pinch of caffeine. When I say a pinch, 100 milligrams. That's something that won't be in my plan forever. But long days, up at 3:45. Now I'm practicing 11 hours later. I have a little zip later in the day. I wouldn't do this if it affected my sleep, but I think caffeine is, I mentioned this, caffeine is a 6-hour half-life, so I try to be a bit careful about where I pop caffeine in my day. It's usually in the first 4 hours of me being awake, and then I'm done for the day. Thursdays I push that out, but I limit it to 100 milligrams. I don't push that limit because I don't want it to affect my sleep, and I do seem to sleep very well and recover well after my practice days, so I don't think it's doing that. Anyways, I'm gonna get in. We're gonna run the sections in thirds, and then I want to work on a couple things. So I did send my routine over, and the way I did this was I took together, I have my whole routine mapped out, it's done. I put on the screen like a yellow dot where I wanted him. I basically said to him, I'm either feeling like the choreography needs to come up a little bit more, change more performance, or I'm open to adjusting. So I probably yellowed out like a third of the routine. And it was great though, because he responded back and, basically said, yes, I see where you're going here. We're going to work on this. But then there was another section where he actually told me, he's like, I don't think that we should touch it. I think it shows your skill really well. I think it flows well. Keep as is. That's great feedback to have from somebody that doesn't even know the sport super well or the division. To have somebody's eyes just be like, this is exciting to watch as is. Don't change it. I think it's great. I am going to change my placement on the floor a little bit though. I want my aerial to come sideways, and right now I have it traveling like diagonal up the center of the floor. And I think I posted it in the last video. I think that moment when I come down, I like aerial onto my knee. I think that's gonna be more powerful seeing it from the side. We're gonna try that today. I want to see what it looks like. So anyways, I'm gonna knock out my thirds, and then I'm gonna play around with some things that I would like to be in the routine 8 iteration if I get there. And so I'm going to save that though until I'm done, so that my runs can be strong and powerful. I can get those recorded, spliced together. And it's almost 3, so I don't really want to push my time out too far. I've been probably in practice. By the time I warm up, run my sections, and drill my whatever it is I'm drilling for the day, and then I will sit there and splice my video together while I'm there. As mentioned, I know myself well enough to know I'm going to waste so much time anyways at home. I don't want to do that. I really am trying to be better about keeping my time more sacred and honoring the time when I'm home, and the time I have with Hazel, and the time I have with Matt, and the time I have at work or my friends. I want to keep it all very specific so it doesn't overtake everything in my life. So anyways, my hope is to keep this to, I've said this before, my warm-up takes 20 minutes all in, like movement prep, skill warm-up, all that, 20 minutes, putting all my braces on. Routine runs will take 20 minutes, just shy of 20 minutes. So that leaves me an extra like 20, maybe 25 minutes to play around with some things. So that's the plan for today. As always, I'm excited. I'm ready. I haven't talked about this, but I think this is significant to know. Fun facts about practicing. I never used to do this. This is a thing I have put into play for myself. I started this last time I competed. Very specifically, I started this part 2 of my season, so Ben Weider season. I don't go into practice just like, I'm here, I'm showing up. Some people can do that, and that's great. I love that. I could do that. I practice in the same clothing. When I say same clothing, I wear a black sports bra, I wear black compression shorts, my braces are the same, they're covered up, they're all black, and then I always have my hair in a ponytail because I will plan to compete in a ponytail, and I have learned the hard way by slipping on my hair. My pro debut, I slipped on my hair twice in that routine. Silliness. I mean, it caught in it. I'm sure it wasn't super noticeable, but like it made my hand slip out. And then I think I might have like slipped off of my foot at one point. It was silly, but it's because I always practice with my hair in like a half bun here, and I wasn't used to all this. My hair choreography this year is also part of the choreography, so I want to be sure that I'm nailing those. So I always have my hair in a pony, and I always, before I start, pop on a little lip. I just feel like it brings it together for me. I feel like being in practice means I'm playing that part and I'm coming into it, and for me that helps me bring out my performance value. Again, that's what works for me. I like feeling like I'm in character, if you will, for it in the role. So I'm about to the gym now. If I record anything cool during practice, I'll share it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes today. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily expecting anything super cool. I'm hoping that I nail some of the skills that I'm practicing, hoping to put into play. But we definitely will chat after the fact. Since I haven't recorded a lot this week, I'm going to record between my runs. So I just did my first thirds. Hurry got to about like 175, which is not as high as the other day. Routine round 1. I'm going to watch it back in a moment. I've got a 3-minute break. This is what like it genuinely sounds like though. Section was 37 seconds, so I could do the thirds. And first one was, ooh, good. Second one, thing is you practice to understand where your mistakes might happen if they happen, and how do you recover without making it look like you had one. I think I did that when I'm watching back. And then third was pretty much on par with the first. My one hold wasn't long enough, but that's fine. So I've got 2 more minutes of break, and then I'm doing section 2, which includes the aerial, and I adjusted my spacing on the floor. So let's see how it goes. We're at 184. I'm staying out. Okay, this is real. Like, this is what it looks like. If you ever see a fitness girl come off stage and do this, this is why. Except we do it in the whole like 2 minutes. This is in 37 seconds. Whoa. Positive. All of those were good. All second middle chunk, every aerial hit. The last one I felt was exceptional. We're gonna roll the tape back though. In your head, it can look one way. It can look different out there. I haven't said this, but I did figure out my longest balance section, which lasts like 2 full 8 counts of staying balanced. It passes through 3 skills. It's not easy, and it's in the final 40 seconds of my routine. I'm trying to breathe here. I hit it out 3 times, and I've been consistent on it. Now I've figured out my hand placement, so win. I've got 1 more section to go. Typically, of my 3, this one's the most consistent. So it's still hard, but the skills for me in the final third are not the most difficult for me to execute. So, you know, everybody's got their strengths, right? I will say in that second, third, push-ups were a struggle. That last run, the aerial was great. I can tell you the push-ups, they weren't on time, first off. They didn't match the music. They were slow. I'm getting tired though. All right, I've got 60 seconds and 1 more to go. I'm at 170. I'm annoyed. I just said how good that last section was, and then I missed 1 skill every single run. I didn't miss it. It like, I think it would be obvious though it wasn't hit. That's annoying. Things happen though. I'm getting exhausted. I get it. So I'm gonna take my 3-minute break. I'm not satisfied, so I'm gonna let my heart rate come down, and I'm gonna run this section 1 more time. Well, I'm more recovered. My heart rate's been getting down to 111 today between my runs. I'm happy with that drop off in 3 minutes. It's already coming down a lot. And then I'm only gonna spend 10 minutes working on skills. I just don't want to be here super late today, and I still have to make another stop. So, and I am sweating profusely. I feel accomplished. So I'm gonna give it, I have 2 more minutes here. I'm gonna watch this back real quick just so I can zoom in on where I'm. It's a hold. It's a shoulder stand hold. I'm missing it somewhere. I think I'm overshooting my legs. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna see where I'm missing it. We're gonna record it 1 more time. It's gonna hit, and then I'm gonna do 10 minutes of skill work. Hi, we're done with practice. Wait, right? I'm done with practice. It went well. I obviously kept you updated throughout this time around. But to wrap the final parts, when you work on skills, it's good to really admit where your forte is and is not. I found mine. My back flexibility is trash. I am not, my back is just not very flexible. I'm not going to push it. There's no reason to. Why? It's fine. I'm fine without it. I've survived this long without trying to. It's not that it's not important. Like, obviously focus on your mobility, but I'm not. There was one thing I was trying to do that just, nope, it's not for me. I'm cool. I'm good without. Positives. So before again, I know I need to do this. Not need to, want to do this. It's so bright. And talk about key and box. I'm gonna stop like so. I'm gonna move you up here. Before I got my key and box diagnosis, I was getting really, as I mentioned, good at handstands. And I was doing a variation where I would do a toe touch, and then I would basically front handspring. Is that what it is? I would jump out of my hands into a handstand, a split handstand. It was cool, like connection. I said, let's try. What happened? Like, right, let's just give it a little hop in. And I mean, I don't think this is anywhere near being able to go into a routine, but it was cool to work on that. So I did it. I didn't hold it very long, but I did it. And that's step one. I'm going to reiterate this over and over and over again for friends that might be watching this who have had key and box disease. I had reconstructive wrist surgery. So a bone in my wrist called your lunate bone is reconstructed using a piece of my femur and cartilage, so out of my knee joint. Do not have full mobility of my wrist. I probably never will because I lost a lot of ligament support in my wrist during that. It's really important that I don't push that. There are restrictions that come alongside. The brace I wear limits my wrist mobility altogether. I couldn't, even if I wanted to, extend, like, this is my wrist that has not had surgery. I can do that. I can't do that. That's as far as my hand goes. Literally, that's as far as it goes back on my own. That's all I got. But if anything were to happen, this brace quite literally keeps me. There's metal plates in it. It can't go anywhere. It's really safe, and that's why I wear it. So when I'm doing these skills, I've said this before, I'm actually doing them on like that on this hand, and then I wear a tiger paw on this wrist because I know how much brunt of the weight is going onto this hand, and I don't want to end up having game box in my right hand. So it's cool to me to see my body relearn balance when I'm imbalanced on my hands. I do not have equal contact with the surface with my hands, and so it's just neat to see that evolve. I'm happy about that. I'm proud of that. Being on your hands is not a normal thing. I'm not going to walk on my hands. Probably much longer in my life. I think cool party trick, right? I did but I can actually like handstand walk a little bit. I could get more comfortable. I haven't done that since my surgery years and years ago. So that was kind of cool. Played around with that. Again, not something I would do in my routine. Just doesn't necessarily fit the vibe. What I want. But neat to see it. I did, however, again, just playing around, I did find out I can do something. It's a new transition. Not new. People have competed this transition before. I've seen it with a couple people. It's kind of a variation of like I don't want to say back handspring, but like a transition that flips back. And when I was practicing, like trying it, I kept saying, I was like, this probably looks like a mess. And I watched the video back and I went, oh, that actually looks kind of cool. So good news. I do strongly feel this is going to go in. It's definitely not hard to execute. So easy little movement from the ground up. So I'm happy about that. And yeah, all in all, it was a good practice today. I'm happy with it. I'm really proud and happy about my aerials today. I threw every single one, and when your heart rate's up and you're talking, sometimes you forget what you said. I don't think I had said this part. I said I was going to go back and see if that aerial was good in my second section. That the last aerial was like solid. I'll share it here. It was good. Or maybe I shared it earlier. We'll see how this video comes out. So I am almost home now. It's 4:30. Just gonna take it easy, get my life ready for tomorrow. I do have a longer work day tomorrow. It's like the last Friday where I'm gonna need to stay this late, which is good. So I'm gonna get my stuff together. It's so nice out. It's 70 degrees actually right now. It's really nice. So been walking after dinner with Hazel. Maybe we'll get like a before and chill and after or something. And making Mexican tonight. So to keep it prep friendly, I really like Siete. Their seasoning mixes are not super high in sodium, and so I'll put about half of the package in lean ground beef, and then I will saute mushrooms. No, we don't have mushrooms. I'll saute peppers, a variety of peppers, and onion. I will add spinach in there for the greens tonight, and then I will do like a third of an avocado for a little healthy fat, and rice will be the carb. So just, again, making this prep friendly. It plays in my parameters of what I want to do, but it adds some flavor in, and I'm thrilled about that. I also, there's a sauce from, again, Siete is a brand I really like in general. They have a chamoy sauce that's low carb that I can do about 2 teaspoons of. So I will do that as well. So that's the night, and tomorrow we're back at it with work and a low body lift tomorrow. So we'll check in as the day's going here. Hi, good morning. It's Saturday, April 11th. I am on my way to work, which I've mentioned before is not I want to say it's not common, but I do make my own schedule, and Saturdays are not part of my active coaching schedule, meaning I actually don't have any classes permanently on my schedule. Saturdays, Sundays off usually, which it's a sidebar here, but having 2 days in a row off really changes the game. The weeks when I don't, I notice how it affects me in the week to follow. And this has actually been a couple weeks of coming in on Saturdays and adjust yet. So I do think that's also why I'm just a bit more tired. But I have been. I am actually working the next couple of Saturdays. I'm filling in for classes on those ones. So anyways, I'm going in today, and I have an exciting day. I have a consultation with a client at 7. I've mentioned we're doing metabolic testing now. At 8, I'm going to do a test run on Matt with a resting metabolic assessment. I did one other on a staff member this past week, so this will be my second staff, and then I'll start with client facing. And then at 9, I'm doing a staff active metabolic assessment, which I'm excited because I did his years ago. And so I'm excited to see how the technology compares, what his experience is, how he would rate it, essentially, and feedback, because he's been through this with me. He knows, I think, it's the exact same thing. He knows what to expect and will be a good person to get feedback from. I'm going to help somebody set up a class who doesn't typically teach classes. Then I'm going to do my 20-minute walking incline cardio. And then I've got a session with 2 girls, so they're high schoolers. They're both in high school, and they play tennis, and so I work with them on the weekends. Last year during the summer, I saw them during the week. I want to say once or twice during the week. During the school year, it's really at the mercy of my schedule and where I can pop them into the weekends and where they're obviously available. There we go. And so anyways, I have them today, and they're fun. Like it's always one. I love strength training to young adults and teaching females especially the benefit, and from day one they've always been very pro. We want to be strong, and I love that. I'm here for that. But then we also, now that they're like actively in tennis season, we're really thinking about exercises are gonna focus on their sport, and so I get to do more agility with them and drills and more instability balance to make sure their ankles and knees are protected. And so we do a lot of multi-directional work and BOSU explosive work and stability work, so it's fun. So that's my day. And then later tonight for our treat meal, so Matt and I have gotten a lot of gift cards from people, clients. So what we've been doing is we put all of our gift cards into a bowl, and we do a gift card draw, and it's just at the mercy of what is the gift card today. So I mentioned this prior, I'm allowing myself some flexibility still with these treat meals for a bit of time. I'm actually doing an Embody today, and we'll talk about that later. We'll see what that looks like. So I can get a better gauge of progress, but I feel like it's going really well. So anyways, we're going to a place called Mezza today. It's a Mediterranean restaurant, so I'm excited. We've never been there before. I love Mediterranean food, so that's exciting as well. So yeah, that's the morning. You usually come along for my ride-alongs. It's also what I get here usually at 4:45. It's like a little more than 2 hours later than my usual like time I'm at work. So this is it. I'm usually cruising. I am a drink my coffee out of a mug early in my car. Come at me for it. I know Andrea's there with me. There's something different about it. It's better. It tastes better. So I mentioned this before, I drink mushroom. I like mushrooms. In general, like the whole, get me on a mushroom kick. Chat with me. Come, let's talk. I will go on about mushrooms. Just so many benefits for so many things and how they've helped this world. I love mushrooms. Anyways, I drink mushroom coffee. So it does have coffee in it, but it's got a mushroom base to it. So the caffeine level is very low. I think it's 35 milligrams, like a cup. And then I do carry along with me my travel mug. So I drink 2 of those a day. So I drink this one on my way in, and then the other one, I'll wait about an hour before I have it. So that's my morning. Oh, it got colder. It's as ice as possible. Oh, Michigan. It's gonna be like 55 today though. It's gonna be great. Okay, I will, after work today, we'll chat for a moment, talk about how it went. I'm excited to see these active metabolic assessments. I'm excited to chat with Brooke here shortly and see the girls, knock out my cardio, and then get ready for a date night tonight. All right, bye. To practice. I did not check in after work yesterday, so let's wrap the day with some real coffee today. I told you, Sundays of the day I have real coffee, the only day of the week I do, sometimes Saturdays. Today's a no mug kind of day. I love mugs. Fun fact, 2 things. I love a mug that just, feels like something. I like gifting mugs, and I also very much like gnomes. So along with mushrooms, I like gnomes. Anyways, yesterday was good. Work was good. I did a resting metabolic assessment on Matt and an active metabolic assessment on Corey. You'll see it here. Get better at this. So really good information. Cool to see the results on both sides. Corey's active test, so that's the one where we go as hard as we can. He did great. He really did push to like a 10 out of 10. And we had very clean data on him, and that's exciting to see. It's exciting to explain it. It's exciting to be able to connect the dots to help somebody see progress moving forward. And his goal is to get back into running condition. So I'm happy that he now has a plan to do that. And then yesterday evening, we went out for dinner. We went to Mezza, which was Mediterranean. It was good. It was really good. I will say it didn't necessarily feel as much like a treat meal. And I know I said this before, like sushi becomes a big one. I think a lot of people look at me when I say that and be like, sushi's not really. I do feel like sushi is a treat because there's so many carbs in it, and you can get a variety of rolls, though I don't do the fried ones in season. That being said, yesterday we had the pita bread was really good. So I don't eat straight bread, so that part was great with whatever sauce they have that goes on it. Fantastic. We got hummus, a big plate of it, so I have some left over that I'll put on my post practice food today. The salad I had was good, great dressing on it, and then I had gotten chicken shawarma with vegetables on my plate, and then Matt had gotten a mix of chicken and beef shawarma with rice. So it was great. Just a pretty chill evening. We came home, relaxed, watched, what's it called? It was on free diving. I've never seen this before, but crazy people that dive as deep as they can, holding their breath. That's wild to me. I also tried to hold my breath while they were doing it. I can't do that. Oh my gosh, like that. I can't imagine the adrenaline that happens, but them explaining how your lungs shrink as the pressure surrounds your body in the water. It's just it's crazy. It's wild. I give people a lot of credit in all ventures of athletics, and this is something I was very unaware of. So watched that last night. And then this morning, slow morning, good discussion this morning today with Matt, and made him this, one of my clients had shared with me this stuffed English muffin breakfast, like almost like a sandwich, but it looks like it's an English muffin base, and they stuff it. And the English muffin only has, I'm going to say that, English muffin, it's cottage cheese, flour, and baking powder, and a pinch of salt. Super easy recipe, high protein. So I took like a very small nibble just to see how it tastes, because I was genuinely curious. So it's good. And then I had my regular breakfast. So we're off to practice now. Okay, so let's wrap. We'll talk after practice, and then that will wrap this video. But let's talk about the week in general. So I had mentioned I haven't really recorded much this week, but things are going well. I did do an update at InBody yesterday, and so here's the thing with scans like that. And I coach a lot people who see these things on the daily, and it's hard when you're on the receiving end to have to be like, you gotta listen to your own advice. My InBody scan wasn't heading in the direction I would have wanted to if I just looked at it and didn't dive deeper into the numbers. Here's the thing. My total body water comparatively to my last scan was down by 3 pounds, which I drink about a gallon of water a day. So I'm getting a lot of water in, I'm not retaining it in the right ways. And so I do actually think I need to increase my electrolytes. So I usually do 1 scoop of Hydrate Lifetime's electrolyte a day, and that's like first thing in the morning. I wake up, I'm drinking electrolyte with a huge glass of water. I'm gonna put 2 scoops in to my day. Days like today where I practice and I'm profusely sweating, I'm gonna put 3. I could see it in my scan. My intercellular water wasn't as high, nor was my extracellular. So I knew that, like, my weight was down overall yesterday, but I looked more flat than I know I am looking usually. And when I say usually, I kind of noticed it over the last week. So I do think I'm at a point where I just need to start increasing my electrolytes. So I'm going to do that. So anyways, the point of that being, InBody scan reads electrical current through your body based on water, and water allows it to pass fast. And when it doesn't pass fast, it's going to pass slower, and that reads as fat mass. So it's really, yes, a good metric, but the best metric for your progress, no. And it's just like anything else. You shouldn't base a decision around a scale weight. You shouldn't base it around one single InBody scan. You have to data points, right? Like, you keep checking them. So InBody for me is done usually every 4 weeks. I did it only at this 2-week mark because I had done it at the beginning of the 60XT challenge that I'm doing with my team of people at the gym. Just so I had a baseline, really starting that off. So I am doing them more frequently right now in this season, but that's not how I usually like to do these things. I do them about 5 to 6 days after my period begins, first day of my period. It's always the best clean read, and dry, meaning I go in with just having drank water in the morning and electrolytes, and that's it. Anyways, not that matters. So I did, however, every Sunday I do my measurements, and then I do weigh myself daily, but again, there's 0 stock in one day, which you could eat just a pinch different. You could be holding inflammation. You could have not slept as well. All of these things will adjust your weight, and it is bananas to start making rash decisions on one single day. So instead, what I do is I take my weekly average, and then the weekly average helps guide this conversation of where do we need to go alongside my measurements. Photos are probably the single most important factor of all this. Is weekly check-in photos allow a visual, eyes on it, to see what's changing. And then this week I obviously have InBody. So that being said, I did see my measurements come down once again, specifically in my chest and waist, and which is interesting because my low body always comes in last. In the first 3 weeks, I actually saw my low body come in a lot. From week 1 to now, I want to say my hips are down almost a full 2 inches. That's huge. And then my waist is down, I think I was around 25 today, 25 inches maybe. My waist, I naturally have a very small waistline. So, and then my chest came down quite a bit. You lose in the places you don't necessarily want to see. But this is how it goes. Eventually my hips will keep going down. Anyways, so really positive progress comparatively last week to this week. My overall weights, and this includes like a treat meal last night, was down 0.9 pounds. I did extrapolate data from days 1, 2, 3 of my period because my weight is always wildly higher because of water retention, like 4 pounds higher. And I know this about my body. This is not new news. And so these are data points I know to take out, and then we get back on once I get, not usually, but I did it with day 4 because that was really in alignment with where I had been the whole week prior. So I'm happy with that progress. I'm not making any changes to my week ahead because of that. I am tweaking my workouts slightly to start adding a little bit more intensity. So as it stands, my workouts have been pretty much either like single individual lifts or supersets. I'm going to start going into more giant sets and a little bit more plyometric movement now that I've been very consistent. So my lifts aren't going to change in and of themselves. It's like we add a little bit more, just pinch more. And so we're just driving the needle further on the output ever so slightly. And the reason of that is I know what my plan was at 11 weeks out with Royale, and I need to work into that. That being said, this is about prep, is about how many tools do you have in your toolbox and when do you need to pull them out. Do not want to pull all the tools out of the toolbox in I'm at 14 weeks out, if providing I do Chicago. To pull out all these tools at 14 weeks means I have less tools the closer I get, meaning then we have to start manipulating food down. And as I mentioned, we do it the opposite. Food comes up, output goes up. But I don't want to pack in movement with lower calories now because then that's going to start restricting myself more as I get into it, which means further depletion, which means not as great of a result. Body might not respond, and body is responding very strong right now. So all that to be said. That is going to be the plan for the week ahead. So it ends up being I think my Tuesday and my Friday workout is the one when I went through it today where we're packing in a bit more, and truly that comes down to the fact that Tuesdays and Fridays I can spend more time in workout than I'm able to on Mondays and Thursdays. It's just a little tighter with my work schedule. So anyways, that's the deal. Heading into practice now, I am meeting Donnell and I'm excited. This is the first time I'm ever gonna have somebody at my practice who is not a friend or somebody I know closely. I've never done this. I've never gone through choreography with somebody in person. Whitney and I always did it virtually. And I've practiced in front of my best friend Erin and Matt previously. I was thinking I'd go back into season earlier. But I have not done this with somebody I'm not familiar with. So this will be interesting. So I will keep you posted. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. He is literally sitting in the parking lot, and I'm pumped. We're gonna report back after. I'll let you know how it goes. But here we go, day 1 of getting my choreography set. Okay, I'm gonna sit in my car for a moment and compose myself. I'm done with practice with Donnell. First off, it was fantastic. So good. When we're done with this update, I'm going to just like splice together some pieces and parts of what we did. So his background, as I mentioned, he very heavy dance, was in cheer when he was growing up, so he's very familiar with what my background is, and then Cirque. And so he's had a lot, and again, he's done so many things. What's funny is if you are somebody who is in the cheer realm, or I don't know, anything, and let's put it on fitness for a second, or any creative arts, and you've never been like a dance person before, you're watching. I love this. He's like, just do this. And I'm watching, I'm like, what? Like, my feet don't do that. I don't know how to lift and turn in my body, and I don't know how to be awkward. Here's the thing, I'm open to learning, and I love that, and that's where I like this collaboration. And I was very forthcoming at one point of being like, that just feels like it's not quite me. And I think this is where sometimes in our division you can get into some murky water, is when you try to take on a style of somebody that's not your style. Own what you do. And I think that's when the best performances start to come out, is like, yes, you can collaborate. Yes, you can take on essences. Yes, you can take direction from somebody who maybe does things a little bit different. But when you try to totally flip your narrative, like, what are you good at? What are you going to be known for in this division specifically? I think that's when we start to see things go a little sideways. And, stay in your lane, like, do what you're good at and be honest with that. And if it doesn't feel like, it kind of feels like it's out of alignment with who I am as a performer, it's okay to say that. And I did convey that at one point, and he was great with that. That's the thing about collaboration. And the whole time Donnell was very, how does this feel? Does that feel like something we can make happen? So, as I mentioned, I had the way I've heard this said in cheer, and I said it to him today. The house was built. Now we're filling it. The bells, the whistles. Let's furnish the home, and that's what we're doing right now, is we're furnishing the home. So he definitely took. We have turned the volume up on making it flow more, building in pauses where perhaps I didn't even realize, like, oh, that moment does make sense to pause, to breathe, to not even just stand there, but like with a hold, with a body line. And he actually caught a really good photo, which he told me, he's like, just stay there, look at this. And I didn't even realize like the body shape my body was making. And that's cool to see that come out. So I am excited. I am certainly a little, I'm going to feel this tomorrow, because we're doing things that are a bit out of my, realm, but it's technique, and I'm okay with learning some new technique on some things. So my hands get prettier. And it just flows. I've kind of always performed as a very like snap, be here. And this time around, I'm still doing that, but with moments that just have more flow to it, to where I'm going to get. And I love that, because I do feel like it just connects to my routine more. So I am done here. I need to go to the store to get meat for the week and a couple things. When I get home, I think I am going to get in the bath again. And I'm going to rewatch. So I recorded a lot of like us just collaborating, which is what I'll post. But then at the end, I was like, let me just run this like with counts. Let me remind myself what I'm doing. So then the plan is on Thursday, I'm just going to come in by myself. I'm going to rehearse, go through all the changes we made. And then I'm going to run my routine sections with those changes. I'm going to splice together my routine so he can see it and start to see like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Or maybe that does. Like, hey, I love this. Let's just like fine tune the technique more. we do have to work on my opening. It's there. Like, I have 2 8 counts of my opening, but then there's basically a full 8 count where we shifted the skill set a little further to a different part, which I love so much more. So we have to fill that. And I told him, we're going to save that for next Sunday. So right now the tentative plan is we're going to reconvene on Sunday. He's going to come back in, help me zero in on my technique and form, which I kind of love. Again, this is definitely putting me out of my comfort zone of how I usually practice. Usually I'm just coming in and rocking reps. And this is going to force me, if we meet on Sundays, to really fine tune the little spots, then give me a practice on Thursdays to be able to drill it. I'm at 14 weeks now if we do Chicago. And my intention is at 12 weeks out, I'm adding a Tuesday practice. So I'll be practicing 3 days a week, and that will carry on until I get to stage. So at that point, if we continue to work together on Sundays, I'd have 2 practices a week to really focus there, 1 day a week to focus on specific, hone in on the technique. So this is exciting. This is different. This is, I think, same essence of where I've been. Fast, definitely fast. Powerful, strong, but more stage presence and performance. And I can't wait. So that's wrapping the week. Again, grocery store, bath. I'm going to slice this together. So hopefully you'll be seeing this video later today. This is Sunday still, or at some point this week. But thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe because we're going to keep doing this week over week. And follow along. If you have questions, I'm here for it. I'm enjoying so far documenting this, and wherever the cards may fall, the chips may fall, rather. This is fun to have something that I'm working towards again, and I'm happy to be sharing this specific journey with you. So we'll continue to follow along as the week goes on.